Looks like we are going to start. Both of the runners, as in the previous races, starting in Link's house. Probably going to check Lake Hylia Island and move on to Sahashla's closet. This seems to be a fairly common opening nowadays. I don't recall seeing it during the first week.
I believe the first person to use this opening was Thelaine, and then I borrowed it from him in my race against Christos, and then Chris took it from me, and now apparently everyone seems to be using it. So we should credit Thelaine for it, I guess.
It's one of those things that makes sense. Oh, and there's the Moonpearl in Sahashla's closet. Well, I guess it makes sense because you end up checking Sahashla's closet during a normal opening really late. You're not going near that area.
Also, Christos' timer didn't start, so that's a little awkward.
We just got a map check from Gem, and I saw crystals in Tower of Hera and Eastern Palace, but I did not catch Desert Palace.
Desert is also a crystal.
Other than that, looks like they got the cape, which is technically useless in overworld glitches. You can get on top of Bumper Cape without it, and a lot of money.
Okay, I'm sorry for Aim. The opening where you go to Sahasrara first is for Aim's opening. I'm sorry.
Just a big 20 in Anxiety Cave. It seems to be safe to say that Agawon will not be killed this time around.
Yep, because we already have Boots and we have the Moonpearl, we can go pretty much anywhere in the Dark World using just those two items. So Agawon is essentially completely irrelevant.
There's a sword in the Lost Roots drop that allows the racers to use spin speed clips, which makes getting through certain ledges much easier.
So this rock right here is a very useful one. You can bonk it to get a bomb, and usually that isn't particularly helpful in no glitches because you wouldn't always have the boots this early, but since we have guaranteed boots, we can use that to our advantage and get some free bombs before we go into Kakariko.
It's very slow to farm to capacity, but if you get 2 bombs, well, that's 10 chests that you can check without double dipping. There's the fire rod in Blind's Hut. So that's guaranteed ability to clear both Desert Palace and Tower of Hera already. It is open by logic as well.
Also, Skullwoods is open by logic now as well.
Well, if we want to go that far, also Feasttown. Not much value in this well so far. But that is our second 300 rupee pickup, so money is not going to be an issue in this seed. Only a half piece from Follow Wonder? That's kind of a scam. Jam opting to buy a bomb pack despite getting 5 of them already. Yes, there's a second map check. So Eastern Palace was actually a 5/6 crystal, which could be relevant if the mirror does not turn up, but otherwise with the mirror we can get into the Pyramid Ferry without opening it with the big bomb.
So I shortly expect our runners to be going for the Desert Palace clip. So Chris turns down the 300, but Jen picks it up. That's interesting.
I guess that secures literally everything that Jen might need to do for...
So here, Christos performs the race game clip. It lets him get the item from below. Then he turns that race game clip into a clip straight to the desert area. And so that gives you access to desert without any of the typical items. Gem, on the other hand, is opting to go through race game the typical way, and then presumably to clip from desert, to clip to desert from here.
Yep. They performed an upwards teleport using a boots clip on the side of that cliff. You can achieve this effect by clipping in 8 pixels and then holding your inputs into the cliff. So in this case, that would be a down left. Now, that puts you about half screen upwards. If you clip in an extra pixel, go 9 pixels, you instead get teleported downwards. Christos having a little trouble with that room.
Opting to take a death warp so we can get back to the other side of desert faster, so we can then leave and go to the back.
Oh, he's opting to go into the back right now. You can do this. You can just clip in there and hop over, which is perfectly fine, but you're also locked in unless Lamo has gloves. And, well, since Jem picked up silvers in the back, and I do believe we saw the other item.
The other item was a heart piece in the map chest, so I don't know why Chris skipped an item there. I don't think he picked up silver arrows, actually.
That's what I'm thinking too. I think he opened the door and then died.
Gem here is performing a spin speed clip to just walk straight through that slope. The spin speed state is a little bit glitched. You can just kind of walk through corners like that, and he's rewarded with the ether medallion. So Gem is now a silver arrows and an ether medallion ahead of Chris.
And it's safe to say he is headed back to the back of the desert as well right now by clipping back up onto this cliff. Oh no, he's going to check Agena first, of course.
Chris with a very nice landmost kill using the fire rod.
Gets the compass for it, and he cannot be too happy about that. I'm sure he kept track of the fact that he is missing one item from desert. Honestly, I think what happened was Christos was trying to set up his health to be low so that he can just go through, get the item, and then get killed by a blue ball. So both of them headed to the southern light ball right now. Christos probably not opting... Oh yeah, he is going to the dam, so he's probably not opting to recheck whatever he missed. We also get the fourth 300. That's insane. And the glove. that's a bit less insane, to be honest. And the red cane. See, definitely seems to be very front-loaded. It's friendly.
And you just know that's an invitation for it to throw the bow behind some ridiculous set of items.
That is true. We do not have the ice rod or the bow. Both of them have the potential to be very well hidden. And there's the bow in Minimal Dome Cave. You were saying?
So that opens up the potential for our runners to complete all 3 Light World dungeons right off the bat, and they all do have crystals, so that would definitely not be a bad option.
You know, it kind of stands out to me that if Swamp Palace actually turns out to be a pendant at this point, we are just getting very close to actually being a go mode right now. And we're 11 minutes in.
Yeah, if we have... Let's see. If we have... Actually, it could be possible that this would be hammerless and hookshotless, I think. Could be doable.
With the right pendant layout, yes, that could be possible. So, Gem set up a stored water walk. Now he's going to activate it and use it to walk on water. This is, well, currently not in logic with boots, but water walking itself is in logic with Moonbow. He can use this to check Waterfall Fairy Cave. Again, fully in logic. And there's the mirror as well.
And Chris doing the exact same thing, just a couple steps behind. Going to pick up his mirror as well.
At this rate, the silver arrows that Gem did pick up and Christos didn't could end up being huge.
Chris opting not to go for Zora, which is appears to have been a wise choice, only leading to a hurt container. Gets to save his 500 rupees.
And now it looks like he's headed to clear out Eastern Palace. Meanwhile, Gem is going to check the back of Escape instead.
We finally get a little bit of divergence after they've been chasing each other's heels for the last 13 minutes.
Looks like it's the small key and the map are both in the back of Escape. So the front is going to be 3 items. Only a heart piece in the sewers. To answer the question in chat, yes, hookshot is hard required for Swamp Palace. You can't get to the back because that's not really a hoverable gap, and also Argus's buff clouds can't be made vulnerable without the hookshot.
So Gem here is performing an upwards teleport, which puts him on the screen above where he is currently standing. It allows him to bypass the screen transition. So then when he goes to the right, he is then set onto the Death Mountain screen. This is a trick that we call Death Mountain Ascent, or DMA for short, which grants us access to Death Mountain using only the boots. So all of the Light World is in logic from pretty much just the boots, or almost all of the Light World. You still can't get to Mimic Cave within logic without the mirror, even though there is actually now a way to get to it out of logic. Sorry, there's a way to get to Mimic Cave out of logic without the mirror.
Yep. And obviously things that are hard locked behind rocks, for example, checkerboard caves comes to mind, would be not accessible still in overworld glitches. Christos picking up a very useful tool from Eastern Palace, a bottle.
And Gem just performed a spin speed clip off the bottom of the mountain, which actually wraps his coordinates around to the top of the mountain and puts him right at the entrance to the Tower of Hera. So that way we can get up to Tower of Hera without needing to climb all the way up Death Mountain and its many irritating deadlocks.
Yep, and go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, we use Hera Clip a lot because it's a convenient way to get to a Dark World portal, which is the one at the top of the mountain. Since we can perform a trick called Death Mountain Descent to get off of Dark World Death Mountain without needing any of the typically required items for Dark World access. So this way the runners actually already have Dark World access through Boots and Pearl. And we can use Hera Clip to get up to the portal very quickly and easily, and then go to the Dark World from there.
As you mentioned, Heraclip is going to be used a lot. Death Mountain is basically one of the go-to starting points in this mode because of its convenience to reach various parts of the world, both in the light and the dark world.
And I believe we got both items in Tower of Hera. We got the 50 rupees in the lobby and the shovel in the big chest, so we will not be seeing the basement today.
Meanwhile, Christos made extremely quick work of the Armos Knights and now has 2 crystals. Safe to say at this point he's done most of the mainland, with the exception of some of the south he skipped due to Desert Palace. He's going to be heading up to Death Mountain as well. Gem in the meantime took out everyone's favorite troll and now got his first crystal. So there's a blue mail up on top of Spectacle Rock. You don't need to mirror to get it, you can just downward teleport on top of that cliff.
Gem opting to go straight to the Dark World. Interesting. Looks like he's going over to Dark East Death Mountain, which does make sense because he has the mirror, which will allow him to quickly check all of the chests over there in the Light World as well.
Yep, he's most likely going to leave a Dark World portal on top, go down Spiral Cave, come back up through Paradox, and then do the Dark World route.
He did the T-Rock climb variant that sets you up for the mirror wrap, and I thought he was going to go straight to Laser Bridge, actually. That would have been very interesting.
I think with the new clip, you have no reason to. After you check the top of Dark Death Mountain, you can just use the clip to get yourself in there without having to set up for a mirror ramp.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, that actually makes the routing a lot more interesting. Makes Dark World Death Mountain a lot more valuable to check just on its own, even if you're not going to Catfish from there. You can just go to Laser Bridge.
That is the big disadvantage, though, right? Because you're dropping Catfish, which is already inconvenient to route him without descending from Death Mountain. Christos picking up his shovel.
Gem did not finish Desert Palace yet.
Yep, Gem went into Gina's cave and then Sabin quit. Honestly, there's no item in the back of Desert Palace, so you're in no rush to finish it. You can route it in later with Maya, you can finish it when you have better equipment. If it's something you're not immediately required to do, you'd have no reason to rush it, really. Paradox Cave did not seem to be very loaded, but considering we found all of these goodies already, I'm not terribly surprised about that. So we have pendants in Turtle Rock, Skull Woods, and the green pendant in Swamp Palace. That... wow.
That's a pretty good pendant layout, actually. Looks like Gem is going for the hover.
Now,
Trying to
hold
get all
on.
the items.
Yes, he is. Hold on. Aren't we a hammer away from go mode right here?
We are, depending on what the Misery Mire medallion is.
True.
If it's Ether, then we are in go mode. After the hammer.
Well, that's a seed. The T-Rock medallion is Ether. And you do have the tools to go in from the front and clear up quite a few chests.
A Turtle Rock dip so early, though, is a little bit of a gamble, so I'm not sure about that.
No, you're right, but it's also an option. Looks like Gem is headed to Palace of Darkness through this clip in the pit. This should put him right next to the palace, much closer than if you would go in from the south.
It looks like he's not... It looks like he's clipping a little bit too high. Oh, he's good. Okay.
As long as you're using the first bump, you won't get soft-locked. I learned this the hard way in our tournament race. Sword from Uncle. I almost forgot about the fact that they didn't have Master Sword, but that solves it. To the chat mentioning that Gem's game looks glitchy. If you descend from Death Mountain, the palettes are all swapped until you enter and exit the Underworld, which makes for, well, very glitchy sights. But it's all visual. There's no actual problems going on that would cause troubles like the game crashing. So that's Quake and Escape. We are 2 medallions in, so there's a very good chance that we are able to unlock Maya now.
Yeah, for reference, the Misery Mire medallion is completely unskippable in overworld glitches. You just can't get past it. The entrance to Misery Mayo does not exist until you use the medallion. It's rather unfortunate, but we do need to find the medallion in order to gain access.
So palette swaps occur when you do something outside of the expectations of the game. So the game does not expect you to be able to do an overworld transition that takes you from Death Mountain to the mainland. And therefore there's nothing actually in place to say, well, you need to load the different palette to do this. It just continues to render everything. Oh my god, we're in Go mode.
We might be in Go mode depending on the state of the Misery Mayo medallion, of course. It all depends on that one very crucial aspect, and I don't think that Chris has checked the map in the Dark World yet, so he doesn't know whether he is in Go mode or not.
There's definitely one of those habits that you need to pick up in glitched modes, because you may have radically different Go modes depending on what dungeons are required.
So Hammer in Escape, that could be a little rough for Gem depending on how he decides to route things.
With the mirror in hand, and since he already knows that the back of Escape was mostly crashed, so the value is in the front, if he ever decides to do a Pyramid Ferry clip, it's he hasn't done Uncle either, so it's a total of 5, 7, 8 items in the area. I think it's pretty attractive. I wouldn't worry about him not getting that. It's also worth noting that Christos now has conventional means of Dark World access, which means he probably won't be Death Mountain descending at all now. There's the map check, and he should realize that all he needs is a medallion now, possibly.
Chris also needs the hook shot, because he can't hover. Gem can't hover, as we've seen.
To answer the question in chat, we can enter Ice Palace in Overworld glitches with the mirror, or using new tech, only using a bottle. That was discovered this week, I believe. So Gem is now opting to do a hammerless Palace of Darkness. That is quite bad for him. I see the reasoning, because he brought a Dark World portal down here with him. But he is not going to find the hammer in there, so that means he will be double dipping it. Christos picking up Tempered Sword in Thieves' Town. I wasn't paying attention to whether or not Pond was bowlock, but I'm assuming from Gem's writing that it was. Not that it particularly matters. We have the bow on both sides.
Yes, Palace of Darkness is bowlocked. The magic powder was in the first chest.
think Gem's about to find out that he did not need to open that door. Yep. And he is going around, so he is going to hammer you up. Meanwhile, Christos heading into the blind fight. He's about to collect his 4th crystal. And I'm very excited to see if he goes south from here, and we can finally find out if the Maya Medallion's bombos. Well, Gem respawning in the mountain cave, so we're probably going to see something starting with a Heraclip, and I kind of expect him to go to Pyramid Ferry. There's not a whole lot of reason just yet to go into Ganon's Tower. He's keeping his camera rep, so this goes to Pyramid Ferry, Ganon's Tower, or Swamp Palace. Christos finding the flippers that we don't need in Thieves' Town.
Oh, looks like he is going to Ganon's Tower. Interesting.
So that's not too good for him unless he finds... Well, what can he even find, though?
Bombos?
I guess he could find the GT Vicky and then complete the upper reaches of the tower. He does have the bow, he does have a fire source, and he can hover.
I suppose that's a potential argument for coming here early. If you can complete it, you may as well go there, and it's not particularly difficult to get back to in any case.
He got a very large number of keys, so he is opting to do Town Room. That block got all weird.
Yeah, the tiles get a little bit strange if you hold on to the cape in the middle of their range. Oh, there's the hookshot. I guess that won't be an issue for Chris anymore.
Yep. Now, if only he went to Maya. He did this in his past races as well. He does not go to Maya Shed usually after the digging game. We'll see if he changes his mind. But that... Oh! I stand corrected.
Alright, this is good. We will now see what the Misery Mire Medallion is. Everyone get ready to discover. Okay, he's gonna check Mire Shed first. Oh, nope. It is Ether, which he doesn't have.
Where did Gem pick up the Ether again? Oh, it was K45, which Christos could check on his way out of here.
Hopefully he will if he remembers to check it.
I think he's going to do all the checks he missed. There's quite a few. There's Agina, there's Checkerboard Cave now. And once he checks Cave 45, he should realize that he is in go mode. Gem, meanwhile, heading to the back of Ganon's Tower through the right side. Sorry.
Oh, you can continue.
So that's all I had.
Oh. Yeah, so Chris would be in go mode with 9 hearts. Okay, he's checking K45 right now, so he will be in go mode with 9 hearts and green mail, which is one of the scariest go modes I've ever seen.
And with that, at 35 minutes into the seed, roughly, Christos enters go mode with very low gear. He does know where blue mail is. He could opt to get that. Hold on now. He is checking more locations, so I don't... Oh no, he's just picking his Darkwood portal back up.
Looks like he's heading straight to Mire. A quick map check just to ensure that he is, in fact, in go mode.
Yeah, I think he's in disbelief right now. there's the Ganon's Tower big key behind Ice Almost, so no matter which side Christos takes, he will only check that side once he gets to Ganon's Tower. I believe that big key was French vanilla, not actual vanilla.
That was true vanilla big key. It is in the first, like the front chest in that room in vanilla.
Oh, okay. I do not know my vanilla Ganon's Tower chests. So Gem did another hero clip. He's resetting his camera. That probably means he's not getting his hammer soon. But he did pick up a book from Ganon's Tower, so he is going to check the tablet. So this looks like just a Death Mountain descent. Without the hammer, he does not have any conventional means of Darkhold access. He's going to use this to check whatever he has left in the area.
Looks like he's just going for vanilla, no glitches, graveyard ledge access. There is a way to clip down from Death Mountain in order to reach the graveyard ledge. Looks like he's not opting for that, and he's only rewarded with a green rupee, one of the most useless of prizes.
And there's two of them. So the only big deal about this is that without the myths, you have to take 2 graveyard ledge descents to actually check King's Tomb as well. If you have the mirror, you can just descend in Darkhold and check both the normal way. So yes, to answer the question in chat, mirror wraps are not in Overworld glitch logics, but they're allowed. But that also means that the logic actually expects you at this point to find myths, which is probably very well hidden, given how easy it was to get out of logic go mode. But of course, neither of these players will be looking for the myths.
We don't like myths in Overworld glitches, they're slow.
In fact, Christos headed to the back of Misery Maya as soon as he got the big key, basically. So, yeah, he is definitely acknowledging the fact now that he's in go mode. While Gem's threading through Village of Outcasts, safe to say he's going to be finishing Thieves Town after this.
Chris looks to be having a little bit of trouble with the dark room. This is a very tricky one. You gotta place the block on a switch in the dark, and the block is kind of specific, needs to be on only a couple of pixels to work. And on top of that, there are fireballs shooting at you.
You can line up with the left side wall, face right, hold your sword out, move roughly halfway down the room, and then place a block right, and then just move under it and push it up. It will wind up on the switch.
That's useful to remember. I should do that next time I stumble through here and then die because I don't know what I'm doing in the dark room.
Gem gets his TT big key, and he's about to pick up his Master Sword. Go ahead.
In any case, that isn't a overly punishing death, because all he has to do is go back through these first couple of rooms. Probably feels pretty rough for him, though. Though it is still 40 minutes into the seed. Like, this is about the time when you would be expecting runners to be like starting to look for the last couple of items, and yet we already have one in go mode.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that at this point, even though he took that death, Christos is probably not feeling particularly behind. Chat pointing out, Christos did see a fire shield in Checkerboard Cave. That could have come in handy there. Although, if you're up against the wall and holding out your sword in any direction other than down, the shield won't... No, it's any direction other than up. The shield won't actually really protect you against the fireballs. But he gets through the room now with ease. Slightly worked out in his favor, since he died, the blocks remained flipped in their original state, so he does not actually have to flip the switch in the dark room.
So how long do you think it will be until Gem picks up the hammer?
So he's not being super sidetracked by the things he finds. Maybe Hookshot might throw him off a little, but it's actually fairly safe since we specifically need the hammer. Swamp Palace does not really come into play on accident. I think after Hype Cave, he's probably going to opt to go for a Pyramid Ferry descent, and after that, check escape and get his hammer.
And Chris is now finished with Misery Mire, picking up his 5th crystal. And he has only 2 more to go, 1 in Palace of Darkness and 1 in Ice Palace.
It's probably safe to say at this point that Chris is not going to be picking up the silver arrows either, which are just a mirror away from here.
He does have Tempered Sword though, and Chris is pretty good at Silverless, so I don't expect there to be too much of a problem there.
Well, that's one side of it. The other side of it, he is currently, if he's not going to be opening any chests, looking at 9 hearts, Green Mail, Ganon. He is probably going to have to open quite a few chests in Ganon's Tower. I wouldn't be surprised if he did full left into Ice Almost. So that might give him a few hearts, maybe even a mail upgrade. I don't know. But it's going to be fairly low percent.
Gem checking Sick Kid, which I don't think we saw out of Christos. Just getting a arrow upgrade though. Then opting to go for... Oh, we did?
Yep, but he didn't do Bat Clip. And now Gem is stuck in that pit with the flippers. There's no way out of that. You have to save and quit.
I think he's looking for a way to clip out, but unfortunately there isn't one. So the way you do Bat Clip is to buffer a couple times into that slope, and then you would charge a dash and then jump off into the water. And since jumping off a ledge with a dash sends you farther, you would actually be put around the screen transition and land in the water on the other side, which would let you do a screen wrap. And that would put you in the correct place to get into the other side of the hammer peg. But if you buffer too far and you have the flippers, then you'll actually jump into the water, and then that's very bad because that winds up in a soft lock.
Brahmin pointing out that it is possible to get out, but it's probably not worth it. Now the thing is, yes, it's very convenient not to have flippers for the Bat Clip, because then you just buffer in all the way, it throws you in the water. You get ported back, and then you know that you just have to buffer out 1 pixel and then dash up.
Gem going to pick up his hook shot now. Hopefully this doesn't sidetrack him too much. The most I can see would be going to Hookshot Cave.
Making Hookshot Cave more attractive is very dangerous at this point, though, because with the cane and the fire on, that's a weird one. I haven't seen the Maya Rain do that one yet. Usually just flashes. So with the Hookshot Cave being more attractive, he could just opt to go into Turtle Rock from there, and as far as we know, that's going to yield about nothing. So now he's going to mirror up into the back of desert. He has a glove, so it's not actually that precise. You can just lift the rock and go on and kill Lambo. Meantime, Christos found the pod Bicky because he has mirrored, so he is going to the back now. So with the lamp safely tucked away, probably in the belly of T-Rock or something similarly unappealing, this is going to be a really good seat to practice all of the dangerous dark rooms, with the possible exception of Agus Tower.
Fortunately, he does have Fire Rod, so the Turtle Room will not be the terror that it is without any fire source at all.
To answer the question in chat, T-Rock is a very, very interesting dungeon in Overworld Glitches. You can pick which entrance you go through. As for Maya, medallionless is not possible in Overworld Glitches as far as we know currently, and in No Logic, where you can use underworld glitches as well, we've only discovered a method fairly recently to do so. And by fairly recently, I also mean this week.
Yeah, this week has been a pretty revolutionary week for major glitches. We have Flipperless Mirrorless Swamp, Medallionless Mire, a couple of other nice things, but alright, I'm getting a little bit off track here. Nice Helmasaur kill from Chris. Very clean, finishing him off, getting his 6th crystal.
It was so fast that you didn't even get through the whole sentence.
And looks like, yeah, so Gem is heading to Misery Mire, but he is probably going to full clear it because he doesn't have the hammer, which is pretty bad. Misery, even though it took Chris, he checked most of the chests in Misery Mire. That means Gem will probably have to check cutscene chest. I think wasn't exactly paying attention to all the item locations, but he will have to full clear it.
Yeah, it is kind of sad. This makes total sense. So Gem decided to do a really nice arc through the Dark World. He's getting his crystals, he is clearing his dungeons, but unfortunately the hammer is in an entirely different castle here. Right, Christos setting up for the Ice Palace Mirror Wrap. So for this one, you get up on this ledge, you get yourself on the transition on this other side, being very careful not to actually fall down, and you move into the transition while using the mirror. This puts you in this weirdly broken screen, and there is a hard-locking transition right up there, so he has to be very careful not to walk into it. Now he has moved an extra half screen to the right. So that actually just puts him in the Ice Palace courtyard.
And that is how you skip myths. It's also why we don't like myths, because the logic expects that you need myths to get into Ice Palace, and who likes Ice Palace? I'm not sure if anyone really likes Ice Palace as a dungeon. We would rather just go mode it, which we get to do fairly often in Overworld glitches.
Yep, the myths locks two very inconvenient places in Overworld glitches, Ice Palace and the Smith Chain, neither of which you really want to be forced into. So as long as you don't see it, you can safely assume the logic doesn't want you to do it, but the moment you pick it up, especially if you get it early, you just kind of can't help but think that you're supposed to do something you don't really want to.
Looks like Gem is heading for the cutscene chest, so we get to see what is in there now.
Meanwhile, Christos pulling off the first try IP bump jump and heading down, probably not even checking any of the chests on the way, just killing Cold Stare. Half magic.
It's nice, but it wasn't what he was looking for.
Yeah, the only thing right now that Gem has going for him is that he finds all the items that make Ganon more convenient, but not the actual items that make him be able to get to Ganon. Also going through the Dark Maya basement, and I believe he got the block basement down on the first try. Very nicely done. Christos dropping into the Cold Stare fight. So everything in this fight really hurts him right now. He has to be very careful. The ice does 2 damage, Cold Stare does 4. He hasn't got a whole lot of hearts, but he very masterfully executes it.
And that is all 7 crystals down. Chris is now going to head to Ganon's tower and grab the big key, which is amusingly in its vanilla location. And we'll then kill Act 2, head to Ganon, and wrap this incredibly quick seed up.
So, we know where the big key is, but we don't know which side Christos will take. Now, we know that Bob's torch is indeed a small key. So, Christos will be getting his big key in either chest number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or chest number 11. That's assuming he skips Tal Room. If he does not skip Tal Room, it's chest 10, something like that.
He'll probably
it's really confusing.
He'll probably skip Tile Room.
Or chest number 13. It's looking most likely right now.
Christos pretends it's no major glitches and gets it in chest 2.
That would be quite the sight, to be honest. Gem, in the meantime, still finishing up his Southern Darkhold arc. He should be getting close to exiting out of Hype Cave without the hammer and opting to go get his 8 chests from the Pyramid/Hyrule Castle area. There's a very nice spin speed shortcut that you could see there. 2 high cliffs can be spin into, and if there is a horizontal portion to it, then you can actually land on top of it as well. Horizontal, vertical, I don't know. I think it's vertical. He could make the play to open that 1 chest in Swamp, but let's hope he does not. Oh, he's going to Hobo. Now, the only thing about that is he cannot get out of there. If he had left his Darkworld portal on the patch of water there, he could climb back out in the Darkworld if he wished to continue here.
I believe that he actually has the 5-6 crystals, so he could get Pyramid Fairy the vanilla way if he wanted.
Christos misses Bob's chest. He's not going to be too sad about this, but he did miss the chest.
Chris testing something, which I believe was discussed in an earlier stream, that the bee does not work on Ice Armos. And you can see the bee is sort of flying around the Armos, but it's not actually dealing damage to it.
I think this came from maybe one of my races in the tournament earlier, because I did try the same thing. I did try to use a bee on Ice Armos. It unsurprisingly did not work. So, to answer the question in chat, yes, in this very particular seed, Christos has the 7 crystals and is ascending Ganon's tower. Oh.
Suddenly, Gem is in Ganon's tower when we weren't paying attention. I guess he's going to finish it up. While he has the hookshot, he has the bow, he has the big key. So I suppose he sees it as a possibility for the hammer to be an upstairs GT, which we know it's not, but it actually... I don't think it can be. I don't think we got enough keys for it to be a possibility.
So right now he has 2 keys. What is... Okay, I'm confused about what Christos is doing right now.
He has no arrows. He needs to go get some.
Oh my god, yeah, he's out of arrows.
And because he used GT Clip to get into the tower, he can't just leave and dig arrows on Death Mountain. He has to save and quit and go somewhere, and he dug up a golden bee. Nice.
1 hour go mode, and you don't have arrows for the tower. That's so sad. Sorry, 35-minute go mode. 1 hour with 7 crystals in the tower.
Chris is our favorite numpty.
Yeah, so, it makes sense from Gem's side. I think with the 2 keys that he has, it is actually possible to have this in logic. So he did use the right side key to get to Ice Almost, obviously. He did not open the center door, but that means he would have 1 key that is currently a wildcard, right? So, if Stalfos Room has a key, which we know it does, you can't lock yourself out of Firebar Room once you get the hammer. I think this is in logic. Or, well, we know that the hammer's not up there, but it could be. Either way, this should end with Gem on top of the pyramid, with the Ganon hole open. Obviously, he cannot fight Ganon right now. He does not have the 7 crystals collected, but he could just mirror and dip into Escape, where he could pick up his hammer. Although, as we know, it's going to be very, very, very late for him. Christos currently has a definitive lead. On the other hand, I don't know if he will feel particularly behind, because that will be a 1-hour go mode with 5 crystals already collected. I'm heading into Agatu as Christos is finishing Land Mode 2. But don't be confused, Gem is down 2 crystals, he still has to get those. This is shaping up to be the fastest finish in the tournament, isn't it?
I don't remember one that's faster than this. It'll probably be somewhere in probably below 110, I think. I'm not sure if I've even seen an Overworld Glitches seed that's ever been faster than that.
He is going to be very tight on magic. He cannot.
Oh my goodness! And there's the Titan's mitts.
Wow, just sitting on the pyramid. Wait, how did Christos not get that? Did he get that? He did not get that.
I don't think so.
Oh, because he never actually went down to the pyramid ferry. He went to escape the normal way.
Gemna picks up Tempered Sword from Uncle. Very late Tempered Sword, as it turns out. And a very late Uncle check.
Vanilla nevertheless, though.
I mean, in Vanilla, I'm pretty sure it just overwrites whatever sword you have with the fighter's sword. I actually want to try that now, to go get the Tempered Sword and then go back and get the fighter's sword from Uncle and see what happens. I'm pretty sure it will just overwrite whatever you have.
Alright, Gem is now in escape. He should be opening 2 more chests before he is finally in go mode. To answer the question in chat, Ganon becomes invulnerable in Phase 4 unless you have Agatu defeated and all 7 crystals. It's a rando-specific thing, designed so that you cannot really get around the goal that you need to accomplish. He won't even tell you where the silvers are. There it is. Gem at 1 hour and 5 minutes enters go mode. But unfortunately for him, all Christos has to do now is kill the big pig.
Chris missing the one cycle on the first phase of Ganon, but it shouldn't matter.
Gets a very nice position on the second phase, though. That corner is pretty much the best place you can get Ganon in. It's already on to phase 3.
So this silverless that Christos is about to come into is a particularly scary one because he can take 2 hits actually he can take 1 hit and then the next hit will be a fatal blow. So he needs to be very careful.
And of course, with no half magic, getting that torch glitch was critical because, well, you have a limited supply if you don't start missing your hits. So I know this looks fast, but this seed is an extreme outlier. Overworld glitches in general just averages out to be as fast as NMG. But the variance is much higher because of your increased freedom. So you could be potentially putting go mode much earlier or much later. And with that, Christos defeats Ganon. And all he has to do is enter the door. Finishes with an official SRTV time of 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 43 seconds. GG to him. That is most likely the fastest tournament finish we have seen. And with that, he will be moving on to the finals, I believe, are next.
Yes, the finals are next. And that is an official SRL race time of 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 43 seconds.
Yep.
Blazing fast seed.
We'll see if we can get him in here for an interview. So in the meantime, Gem is clearing out Palace of Darkness. After this, all he has to do is clear out Ice Palace and then hop into the Ganon Hall, which is already open. Gem getting his 6th crystal from Palace of Darkness now. From here, all he has to do is conventionally enter Dark World. Or, in fact, he has the flippers and the myth, so he can just go down and enter Ice Palace normally. Christos is in the setup room. He'll be joining us very shortly now. Hey there, Christos.
Hello.
So, how does it feel to be the world record holder for world glitches?
Is that can't be? I mean, it was really quick items, but I played terribly. Like, if I had actually executed well, that could have been sub-hour.
Yeah, the world record was around 110, I believe. So now it is 107.
Wow. What a meme. I guess that's cool.
So that means you're not free from Rando just yet, because you will be moving on.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to being done, but hey, I'm also happy to have made it through to the final. I think I said at the start, my expectations for this tournament were extremely low for myself. So I was just going to hopefully get through one round and then expected to lose. So getting this far is honestly a surprise. I've never had a seed quite like this, to be honest. I was sure I was missing something when I hit go mode. I like checked my map, checked my menu. It was like, have I really got everything I need right now?
It was so well laid out that we started theorizing about potential go modes around the 12-minute mark. And once we saw the pendant layout, we were like, all right, so you literally need the Maya medallion if you need it, and that's it.
I think I was still missing quite a few things, like 12 minutes in. I had 3 crystals 20 minutes in, which was nice.
You were missing hookshot. You were missing hookshot, hammer, and the potential Maya medallion, which Gem got around like 8 or 9 minutes in, so we knew where that was.
Okay, see, in my mind, I hadn't seen the Dark World map yet, so I didn't know how many items I was missing. So I knew that I was missing like at least hookshot, a sword upgrade, most probably the hammer, a medallion, maybe ice rod, maybe flippers. So like there were so many things I knew. And then when I saw the map of the Dark World, I was like, okay, Swamp Skull and Turtle Rock, that is really good news. That means no flippers, no ice rod, hooray. And then I was just doing the usual Dark World sweep. I was going to do Thieves Town, Village of Outcasts, Digging Game, check Maya, and then go to like Hype Cave. And then I was going up to Palace of Darkness because I could beat it. But then getting hookshot from Dig Game, I was like, wow, okay, if Maya is Quake, then this is go mode for me. And then I went to check it, and it was Ether, and I was like, God damn it. And then it was like 3 locations later. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, it was a very, very nice hookshot placement. So, if I may interject here, after this death on Cold Stare, unfortunately, Gem has forfeited. So, GG to him, definitely. He got a little bit trolled by that hammer, but it was nevertheless a very well done seed for him, and we'll see if we can get him in here as well. Sorry about that, Christos. Let's go on.
No, that's fine. Honestly, one of the reasons I decided to check Escape this time was I watched the VOD of our race of yesterday when I went to bed yesterday, and Gem went to Escape not super early, but like fairly early on in the game. So, and I never normally do. So I figured, well, if Gem makes that move, then if there is something there, that would lose a game for me. So I figured I have the execution edge, so I can save a couple minutes over the course of the run, and I'm going to choose to spend some of that time doing an escape check early because I knew he would. Or at least I expected him to, because he did yesterday.
I think he may have changed his own plan in response to yours, and then he decided to never go to escape until extremely late. I think after Ganon 2, and so he went to escape, then got the hammer, then went to Palace of Darkness, Ice Palace, and then unfortunately died at Cold Stare, so that was the end. But yeah, it's interesting how people's playstyles change to each other when they're in a set of 3 or of 5. You just change what you're going to do in response to the other person to try and get an edge.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a lot of the fun of randomizer races. That's why I like the 1v1 matchups series, best of 3 or best of 5, like you said, are a lot more interesting than like the big qualifier races, because you can kind of play against your opponent rather than just hope you get good luck the whole time or whatever.
That's a really good collection rate, 113.
I'm pretty sure that's my best in any mode. I don't think I've ever had that low before. I think that's nearly I think that's probably my second or third quickest seed ever completed as well, regardless of mode. I think I got a 104 in open mode. and then this is definitely like top 3 or top 5. It's annoying though. It could have been or maybe not under an hour, but it definitely could have been a lot quicker. If I made some pretty big mistakes, like execution mistakes. My basement was very costly. I wasted like maybe a minute just trying to get the switch activated the first time, and then died, and then had to go back through there. So like maybe 2 minutes in Maya. And I don't know why I was having such trouble with it, because I got it the first try on my second attempt. And then in Desert, I was setting up a death warp on the BMOS, and then the Popo dropped a bomb, and I got greedy, went to pick up the bomb, and then got sniped before I got the other chest.
Oh yeah, guess what was in the other chest? The one that you skipped.
Oh yeah.
Like a sword upgrade.
Silver arrows.
Silvers. Oh, that would have really helped. Oh man, that's frustrating.
And your early routing was so similar that we were theorizing at that point that that could make a whole lot of difference in the end.
That was just a bad mistake. I was like, that's such a big time sink to then run all the way back across desert for that, and it could have just been the map or compass, whichever one I hadn't picked up. So I was like, well, I'll just go and kill all that molars, and then I'll check it afterwards if it's not anything. Like if Lamolis doesn't have the item. But then when I beat Lamolis, I was like, oh wait, I'm stuck because I don't have gloves to get back out of the rocks. So then I was like, okay, well that location's dead to me. I'm just gonna have to hope nothing's there.
Yeah, most Overworld glitches routing of the desert delays Landmolus. If you can do it, you delay Landmolus until after you check Agena, 45, Checkerboard if you can. You usually delay Landmolus since it's a soft lock area when you go in. So you go around, check everything else, and then come back.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that from now on. That's a much better idea. And if I had done that, I would have had Silvers and Ether from Maya, it turns out. So that would have been such an improvement over what happened.
And then it's like, if Lammo doesn't have an item, you don't really need to rush it either. So later on, when you're clearing Thieves Town, almost inevitably, you can actually use that as a mirror if you don't have it to enter the fake Dark World. Transition down, now you're in the light hole, then you just clip back in, finish it up.
Okay, that's a good point. There's a few like clips I need to learn. Like, I'm pretty sure you can clip into the Maya area from the digging game area. I'm guessing that's possible.
You can, but I don't. It's a little weird for routing. It's better for routing if you're going from Thieves Town south, but I almost never use it because I always go north into Village of Outcasts. So it's useful in certain circumstances. With your routing, it would be better to go in from digging game. But it really is like 10 seconds, honestly.
Yeah. Like, I knew it wasn't going to be too much time.
So quick interjection here again. Jem has declined to join us for an interview, so won't be getting him in here. And returning to what we were talking about, it's actually funny that we're sitting here critiquing a 108 finish.
The run does deserve critiquing though, because like this was just a foot, like a jet seed, and like my thorough light world sweep was very fortunate. And then like other than I guess Jem not checking escape, I'm guessing he had everything else that I did in about the same time I did.
Yes, but unfortunately it does snowball because Hugo modded Maya. He actually full cleared it. Got half magic from the cutscene chest. Let's see.
He full cleared Palace of Darkness.
Oh yeah, he did indeed go into Palace of Darkness Hemulus. So he opted to Death Mountain Descent, Catfish, and then he only did Eastern once he was there with Mirror, and then he went into Palace of Darkness. And in retrospect, they're all good decisions. It's just Escape turned out to be the big equalizer of the seed.
Yeah, like Uncle had a sword, and I used to just go straight to Uncle. So, and in this, I didn't go to Uncle until like 20 minutes in or whatever, 25 minutes in. So part of me's thinking maybe I should go back to my Uncle opener, or like do Sahasrara and then do Uncle and then do CAC. but I don't know. It would have been nice to have had that sword earlier.
One of the interesting things about OWG, if you get an early mirror and you opt to not open with Uncle, then the Pyramid Fairy Clip itself can potentially become an 8-item dip, which makes it really good. And this did turn out to be that. Jem did check the back of his cave fairly early with those gloves. He found the key in the map. So he knew that that area could have been something potentially very valuable, even more than a 5-chest dungeon.
Yeah, it's definitely a good way of looking at it. Honestly, with boots as well in Overworld glitches, escape really isn't too much of a time sink.
Yep, as long as you have a good weapon to do it, it's just right there. Just 20 seconds, go there, finish it. Definitely makes sense.
Did Jem ever find the lamp, by the way?
Nope, neither of you found the lamp, the ice rod, the ice rod didn't really matter. He did find the mitts on the pyramid. So that was your logical IP access.
Oh, wow, okay.
Neither of you ever found the flute, Cane of Bona. He got book somewhere. I don't remember, I think.
Book was right side GT, I believe.
Yeah, somewhere in GT, I think. Oh, I think it was Tile Room, actually.
My GT was so rough. When I threw that bomb in Bob's chest room, I didn't think it was going to blow up the floor because I thought it was like too low against the wall. So that's why I ran down. Was like, okay, well, I'll just powder the anti-fairy, get this chest, and then go back up and pick up 5 arrow pot. But then the bomb did blow up the floor. I didn't get the fairy for my sword beams that I wanted. I didn't get the chest, and I didn't get the arrows. It was like such a fatal error. And then I was like, well, now I'm gonna have to do Armos. I've only got 14 arrows, and I was an idiot and didn't. Like in my head, I was like, oh, I'll get 10 arrows again from the next room, thinking it was NMG. And I was like, wait, that's not how this works in Randomizer.
And then the big key was in its vanilla location.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was kind of annoying, to be honest.
We did get
Would've
fairly
been nice.
confused at your confusion there, where you tried to exit Ganon's tower. But then Chet pointed out to us that you don't have enough arrows.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I have the shovel. I'll just go and dig. Walked outside and was like, oh, I'm stuck. What do I do? And I was like, I really didn't know what to do. So I was like, I'm just going to kill these 2 skeletons. And then we're just going to go and dig somewhere else. Like, I had it in my brain that I should dig. So I kind of had tunnel vision. I could have just gone to the right-hand side to get the pot.
Yeah, actually, I think best option would just be to leave and dig and then come back with arrows.
You could
Honestly, I think that's the best way.
You could also go up to the big chest room and then loop back around to Bob's room again, get the arrows, and then mirror out.
Yes, I don't know what would be faster. But...
I mean, you can't West Samaria in Overworld glitches. It's not fast.
After Ice Armos, looping back.
Oh, I'm dumb. I thought you meant from like the front, and I'm like, you can't just.
No. You
You
pick up the big key. You loop around, going up, and the south door is open.
Oh, that's clever. That would have been really clever.
Because we were talking about West Samaria glitches earlier, and thought you meant that, and I wasn't thinking about like not glitching.
Yeah, I am going to take a break for a while. Now I've got another tournament race in 4 hours. They're just perpetual. But for this tournament, I'm very glad to be through to the final, obviously. These were some good matches against Jem. So I'm glad I got to play him, which I said to him already. It's a really good opponent. And yeah, I guess thank you guys for commentating. And the restream and the tracker and all that stuff.
Before you go, one final question. Who would you like to face in the finals?
Oh, I thought it had already been decided.
No, it has not yet been decided. It's Furim versus Ozapone.
Ah, see, I thought Furim had already won.
Yeah, their race is at 3:30 Eastern today, which is time zone conversion, which is 9:30 in Central European.
That is correct.
So catch that then.
We'll be able to catch some of that. I should better finish my race and then watch that. I'll definitely watch that. Who do I want to face out of those two?
They're both really good.
Neither. Yeah.
That's an answer. All right. With that, any closing thoughts from any of you?
No, just thanks again to you guys, mainly.
All right. So don't forget to give our races a follow. They have been working hard to put this show on for you. Also, I'd like to thank my co-commentator Espion, commentating with me. It's always fun. Thank you for tracking for us OSS Geek and keeping us honest. Don't forget to give them a follow as well. And with that, don't forget to catch the 3:30 game. Well, on Speed Gaming 2 later on today. And thank you for watching.